rolling, baby. Cut this air on, as it is hotter than homemade sin. I think today's the hottest day of the year so far. July 20th, 2026. What's going on, folks? I'm gonna shoot you a quick video today about how to set up your BLZ, this is a lot of acronyms, BLZ UTV Fire Skid. Whether you've got a Polaris, Can-Am, Kubota, pretty much any of them, or depending on which model you have of the skid units, they're all going to pretty much work the same. And we've got an instructional booklet that we're going to give you, but I wanted to shoot a video as well because some of this stuff's easier if you're looking at it. So hop out, let's go back here and take a look at what we're doing. All right, this one is headed out tomorrow to Oregon. We're building and shipping about 2 or 3 of these every week now. This one's headed out west, like I said, to Oregon. It's already on a pallet. When you get it from us, it's gonna be palletized, and we're probably going to pull this handle off because it sticks off just a little bit. They fit beautifully, the Ranger 60 does, on a standard pallet. The bigger skid, the Guardian 80, we've got bigger pallets that they'll ship on. But if we pull this handle off just for shipment, this will be in your pump pod box. All you gotta do is put it back on, put a little bit of thread tape, 4 or 5 rounds of thread tape, screw this back on, hand tight, be plenty good. We're gonna ship it with all the liquid pumped out as well. Now we test them all before we send them out of here. So we video test them, all that's on camera, but we obviously don't wanna ship you 36 gallons of extra weight and charge you for that shipping, or charge us for that shipping. So we're gonna pump almost all the liquid will be out of here when it gets to you, which just means you gotta fill it back up. Got your drain port right here. We're not gonna walk through all the features because we've got other videos for that, but I will let you see it running. Go ahead and spray it. Let's bring the camera around, and I'm gonna shoot over these trees. So come over here from this angle. And that's a pretty good sized pine tree. And we're, hopefully you can see it on camera, we're easily shooting above that. So for, if this was on fire here, it's perfect for this kind of stuff. Whatever you're doing out there, control burns or response. If you're an agency, a department, or a landowner, this is our most popular model, the Ranger 60. But what do you do when you get it and it's on the pallet? Well, take it off the pallet, duh, that's easy. Put your handle back on, all right? When we ship this, can you bring the camera and show them over in the pump pod? Okay, as you can see, it's not taller than the roof of the Polaris here. But if you take a look over in there, we've got our battery. Now there's a on-off all the way on the right, the little white button there. We can actually power off the battery. So we'll probably do that as well before we ship it, just as a safety thing. This thing right here is your onboard charging system, all right? And that's built by a company named Victron, that's the brand. We love them, and that is part of our Fightfinity system, all right? You can come back around. So when you get it, you're gonna need to cut that battery back on. Just press and hold the button, hold it down for about 3 or 4 seconds. It'll light up green. That way you know that your 24-volt onboard battery is now on. Of course, we do have our on-off switch here for the pump itself, so make sure you've got that in the on position if you're trying to spray. And on initial priming of the system, or if you ever run this tank dry and you need to refill it, make sure when you cut that on that you've got the trigger pulled down so that it can prime and evacuate all that air out of the gun. Make sure that trigger is locked back. If you're trying to prime the pump and that trigger's not locked, there's nowhere for that to evacuate that air that we're trying to get out of the line. So do that, easy stuff, right? Got our lid back there, nothing to all of that. We're gonna give you, here it is, your BLZ setup guide. And this is probably gonna go back and edit this a little bit and add some photos and images. But for example, I went ahead and wrote down the pin number for this onboard charger right here so this guy can see it very easily. And there's 2 apps that you're gonna wanna download, all right? The first is your Victron app, Victron Connect, over in the App Store. You're not gonna need that one forever, but you might need it to get this thing initially set up, all right? So get the Victron Connect app. The other one, and I'll put these images up on the screen of what those apps look like. The other one is the Epic Battery app, all right? I want you to get that one and keep it on your phone forever, because that's the one that you're going to monitor your battery daily as you're using it. Once you get this thing set up, you'll never have to do any of this setup stuff again. And I will tell you, this charger is a smart charger. So it's going to work with almost all of your UTVs, and you won't even have to do anything. But if you've got a weird UTV, if the alternator on your particular buggy that you're putting this thing on is outside of those smart parameters, then you might have to go in and kind of fine tune some of the adjustment settings on that Victron onboard charger just to get it set up how you want it. And those are just settings like what voltage does it activate at, what voltage does it stop off at, and do you want a delay in there when you initially crank your unit? Do you want there to be a delay between when you crank your buggy and maybe 100 seconds goes by and then it goes into a charging sequence? So there's some little parameters like that. Again, most side-by-side, you don't have to do anything. It's smart, it'll work. We didn't have to do anything on the Polaris here. We just took it out of the box. One thing I will tell you, the Victrons usually ship in power supply mode. So you have to go into the app, use that pin, connect via Bluetooth, connect your phone to the charger once it's plugged up. And you can only do all of that once you're plugged up to power, okay? So we're gonna supply you with your battery harness here. All this stuff will be in the box. So you'll install this just like we have here on our side-by-side. On the Polaris, we run it through this hole, snake it over there, and connect it to positive and negative. Very simple, just red and black on this end. So have it connected to power, go into the Victron app, and set all that stuff up if need be. Now there's gonna be a video over on the BLZ website, which is wildfireskids.com. It's not our video, it's a damn Australian guy, but he did a great video in detail on the Victron settings and all that stuff. So I'm gonna link to his. In the case that you need to go do those fine-tune adjustments, just watch that video. It's very simple. Once I watched that video the first time, I was able to oh, okay, I see what I'm doing here. You can monkey around with some of the parameters. That Epic battery app, keep that one all the time. That one's gonna allow you to do your daily monitoring. You'll be able to see if the battery is charging, if it's in standby mode, how much runtime you would have, and how long it would take to get you to 100% if you're idling or driving around on the side-by-side. Now, I'll tell you on ours, if we run this thing for about an hour, letting it idle or driving around, and I check that battery, let's say I'm at like 65%. If I check it in an hour, it'll be at like 73%. So it jumps up pretty fast. If you have this battery all the way charged, most guys never get it below like 80%. The cool thing about the lithium technology is it runs just as strong at like 19% as it does at 98. Doesn't care, it doesn't get weaker throughout the day. So Victron app, Epic battery app. Once you get it set up, you don't need the Victron anymore after that, but do keep the Epic. Check your user guide, make sure you get your Fightfinity charging harness installed correctly on your battery. If you screw this up, I'm gonna take away your man card. It's just red to red, black to black on your black to black on your battery that's on your side-by-side. Get all that stuff set up. Ain't nothing to it. It takes about 5 minutes. One other thing I'll show you, and then we'll let you guys go. And I can probably put some of this stuff on the screen as well. I could show you on my phone, but we're using my phone to film this, so we can't. All of our units are going to be set up with this suction line here on a cam lock fitting. So this is the pump suction line that's going into the tank right here, all right? And I can pop that off, and it's ready to receive our draft kit. They're not going to come with the draft kit. That's an optional add-on thing that you can buy. It's 20 foot of hose, connects right here with the cam lock fitting, and it's got the weighted strainer on the other end. You can throw it in a pool, a hot tub, a pond, a creek, or whatever, a cattle trough, and refill the system with itself. It's really cool. But it will be already set up for that, okay? So you don't have to really do anything. If you wanted to add the draft kit after the fact, just order it on the website, and it'll be set up. That's also part of the Fightfinity system. So the ability to onboard refill your water tank with the system, combined with the ability to charge your system forever with your side-by-side, those two things come together, and that's what we call the Fightfinity. All right, so I'll show you this one last thing. When we broke that connection loose on the tank, we've introduced some air into the pump. So I want you to listen to the way the pump sounds when I cut it on. The pump's gonna, the tonality of the pump's gonna change. It's gonna reprime itself pretty quickly, and I'm gonna have to have this trigger squeezed, and then we're gonna hear some air shoot out. See that? Poor performance. It reprimed, And in about 5 seconds, we're gonna hear some air come out right here at the gun. It'll just be, there it is, that little air pocket that we sucked up just from breaking that connection loose. So just make sure you prime it correctly, get all that air out of the line. The pump should run smoothly. There's some other little things over on the tech support part of the website there as far as adjusting your pump, winterizing your system, replacing heads. We're not going to cover all that in this video. Just wanted to explain how to get it off the pallet, onto your side-by-side, install that Fightfinity harness, and get those apps, get everything set up, guys, and then you'll be good to go. You can be out there. You know, I really am tempted to spray Micah. He's holding the camera, but I ain't going to do it. I'm going to think about it, but I ain't going to do it. We'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.